This is Immortal Works Flash Fiction Friday. Nowhere to Hide in Chicago, Blending an NFL fan-mily by AftenBrook Szymanski. Read by Merethe Walther. Our calendar year is based around the Super Bowl. We live and die by the New England Patriots' successes and scandals. When Dad named me after Tom Brady, he told me to own it. I used to think that the worst thing that could happen in my life was when my parents divorced and Mom moved away from Boston where our team is. But then Mom married Nick, a Manning fan. It is the worst insult she could have laid on Dad, on all of us. Nick's daughter is less than a year older than me, and her name, Peyton, after the former Colts, then Broncos, quarterback Peyton Manning. It couldn't be a more poetic dagger. Now I'm stuck with a present in my hands, a room full of more informed eyes waiting for me to open the gift. I open it. It's a book. A plain brown, boring book. There's nothing more than a title on the cover. BFF Guide to Everlasting Friendship. What is this? I can't stop the words from coming out. They spill before I can swallow my confusion. We're going to be best friends in Chicago, Peyton blurts. That'll help. She turns to Nick. Her dad lifts his head in a go on instruction. Peyton lets out a breath and continues with her performance. You know, if we need a guide to making friends? I open the book and stare at the first page. Peyton's flourished writing appears below the title. We'll only have each other in Illinois. In small, crunched, and angry scrawl, it almost looks like a decorative line below the writing is written. Dad can't make me like you, not even if we're forced to be friends living in a crap town. Chicago? I say. Are you serious? I'm not going. Then the book bites me. Or at least it feels like it. I drop it. Its worn spine lands with a thud at my feet. My index finger has a screaming red line where I've been sliced by page 1 of my gift. I want to punch Peyton in the throat. Mom ruins my life with a luggage tag. We chose Chicago over Denver. That's supposed to ease the blow? Chicago Bears are neutral ground for fandom, but it doesn't change the fact that my life is over. Orange Seas brand every article of clothing on the passenger in front of my seat. It's an ugly, burnt orange that comes with a delusional accent and a promise. An accent that uses a lot of, "this is the year," and a promise to never be good enough. At least, that's what I glean from the conversation in the forward row. Anything is better than listening to Peyton explain that her dad could have moved to Denver where Peyton Manning retired but ruined her life by choosing Chicago in order to please me. If he really wanted to please me, he could have stayed in Boston and not taken me away from Dad. Dad didn't even fight for me. He just left, without even saying goodbye. I almost regret leaving that insulting book Peyton gave me on the floor in Nick's apartment. I'm going to need all the help I can get to be friendly in the land of burnt orange and wasted delusions. The Bears haven't won a Super Bowl since 1985 when they beat up on my Patriots at their first ever Super Bowl, demonstrating an inability to adjust to innovative gameplay needed in today's NFL. I type into my phone to post on my blog later. Dad'll love that I'm doing research when he reads it. The only consolation I had was that the NFC would never take the Pats' spot in the playoffs. And what threat would the Bears ever be if by some miracle they faced New England in a Super Bowl today? Just so you know, Peyton leans in from where she's hogging the window seat, cutting off my flow of thought. I don't want to live with you either. Like I asked, I say. Being without Wi-Fi is killing me. I could be live blogging this whole move. Instead, I'm trapped between Mom blocking the aisle and Peyton blocking the window. Girls, this move is to help us come together as a family, not fight. Nick is already in Chicago setting up the apartment where we will all have to live together. Peyton stares at my mom like she's the wicked stepmother. Huh, I never thought of that. In relative terms, that makes me the ugly stepsister. Not my favorite analogy. I put my anger toward Mom remarrying Nick aside in order to free up some additional Peyton loathing. It's your fault that we're moving to bear country, not mine, I whisper to Peyton. How do you figure that? You whined so much your father had to move, just like the Mannings you're named for, a big, fat whiner baby. You're thinking of Eli, not Peyton. She's right. It was Eli Manning who complained so much with his first draft placement in California that he was eventually traded to the New York Giants. Same difference, whiner's a whiner. Peyton crosses her arms and turns her face away from me. Since the conversation in the seat ahead of me is stuck debating 1980s Bears highlights, I choose to keep staring at Peyton, hoping it will annoy the bejesus out of her. Peyton looks out the window. Her reflection stares back at her, but in the glass, her mouth is moving. And the Peyton next to me is not moving her mouth. What the heck? I jump in my seat, slamming my head against the cushion behind me. Peyton twists my direction and blinks like she just woke up from a nap. She'd only turned away 3 minutes ago. There is no way she fell asleep and was sleep lip-syncing all that time. Is there? Now what is it? Mom says, like we're fighting. My eyes are so wide, I'm certain if they open any more, my eyeballs would roll right out of their sockets. I can't stop looking at Peyton, then the window, then back to Peyton. I swear her reflection was moving without her face doing anything. Peyton narrows her gaze at me, which finally seems to break my trance. I pull both hands down my cheeks, stretching my face. I need caffeine, I say. Mom lifts a hand to get the stewardess's attention and asks for 3 cans of Coke. I try not to make eye contact with Peyton, which is hard because of how tightly the seats are packed on this plane. I can't decide what bothers me more. The idea that Peyton messing with me is actually getting me riled, or the idea that she really isn't messing with me. When our sodas arrive, I pop the lid and I don't wait for the fizz to settle before guzzling as much of the burning carbonated drink I can get down at once. I can feel Peyton's eyes on me, but refuse to turn and face her. Did you see something? She whispers it so low I know Mom didn't hear her. Peyton turns to the double-paned glass and puts a hand up over the reflection of her mouth. From the corner of my eye, I watch to see what happens next. What did you see? She asks. Caught off guard, staring again at Peyton's reflection, I jump and spill what's left in my can of soda all over my knees. Brady! Mom shrieks. What is wrong with you? Wrong with me? This girl bonding is nonsense. Why force us to be a family? It's never going to happen. To my mom, I say only, move. Excuse me? She says. I have to use the bathroom. Mom stands in the aisle. Before I can get by her, she grabs my arm. Not hard or rough, but I can feel the pleading in her grip. Give them a chance. I look in her eyes and see an ache that gives me guilt for staying late every night at school, avoiding Mom ever since she met Nick. There's nowhere to hide in Chicago. You have to give them a chance. Please. For me. I nod and Mom's soft but demanding grip releases. I let out a breath as the words, "There's nowhere to hide in Chicago," really sink in. Thanks for listening to Immortal Works /Fiction Friday. Please don't forget to review, rate, share, tweet, subscribe, Morse code, smoke signal, or telepathically blast us. Also, if you have a flash fiction story you want read on this podcast, you can submit it on our website at immortal-works.com.